Welcome back, excuse me, again to Joe's Stunner Boxing. So Campbell Hatton wins a 6-round decision over an Argentine journeyman called EZEQUIEL Gregores. And Mr. Gregores came over here with a 3 wins and 9 defeats record. He hadn't scored a single stoppage in all of his 3 wins, but he'd never been stopped in his 9 defeats either. So, someone who can't bang, but someone who can maybe take you rounds. Probably a good bit of matchmaking for Campbell Hatton. Gregores is 28, so I think Hatton's 20 or 21. Just about to turn 21 maybe, I don't know. He's a youngster anyway. So Gregores is someone who's got his man strength. Hatton hasn't. And the question is Hatton learning? Well, he's clearly learning on the job, but is he learning the right things at the right pace? Because there is the issue of him, he had a short amateur career, and now he's learning on the job on the big stage. And in the past, I've said, you know, why not send this kid away to the small halls and so that he can learn the trade away from the cameras? But I watched his fight with Mark from Unrivaled Boxing, and Mark made a really good point. He said that this is something I should have realised but hadn't previously thought. But then when I talk to Mark very often, I think I hadn't thought of that. Conor Benn learnt on the big stage, and look where he is now. He's doing all right. Campbell Hatton, though, he fights like a kill or be killed banger, except that he's not a banger. He hits lightly. I accept that he's learning and he's young and he hasn't got his man strength yet, but of his 7 wins against very low opposition, only 2 of them have been stoppages. The previous fight with Joe Ducker, where he stopped him in the 6th round, and then there was some 2-round stoppage against someone I've never heard of and probably will never hear of again, some journeyman, I think it was in Spain. So he hasn't got, but I don't think he's got much power. Even when he gets his man strength, I don't think he'll have much power. But he fights with a complete disdain for anything regarding defence. And I've got to wonder, you know, what are they teaching this kid? His output is outrageous. It's outrageously, you know, big volume punching, go forward, stand in front of the guy, throw lots of punches. Yeah, you think he was fucking Aaron Pryor or something, but... And he did it against this guy who couldn't break an egg, this Gregores fella. And in the 2nd round, Gregores landed a left hook that, had it come from anyone with half decent power, Hatton would have been on the floor. And towards the end of I think it was the same round, the 2nd round, Gregores landed a right hand, which landed flush. Now, the art of boxing, I was always taught, was that you gel together, you fuse together the whole concept of defence and offence. And when you're not, the moment, the split second that you're not throwing punches, your defence is locked in. The defence and the offence are locked in together. And of course, you can never have an absolutely watertight defence. You're always going to get hit, you know, once in a while. But to have such absolute neglect of defence, and it doesn't seem to me like he's being taught any defensive skills. He comes forward like he's a face-first brawler. And he's entertaining to watch, this kid. But the amount of punches he throws, that he's bolt upright, he's open to counters. He's not interested in jabbing that much. He's not interested in trying to control the range. He just wants to get in close, let his punches go, get the opponent on the ropes, unload. I don't know. Has he improved since his debut? Yeah, to some degree, but I'm not really seeing a great deal of makes me think, oh, this guy's getting better and better. With Conor Benn, because I saw Conor Benn a few times live, and I thought, okay, I can see the progress. You know, I didn't see his debut. His debut was on one of the Joshua Bills. It was on Sky, wasn't it? And I saw him at one of the Next Gen shows. And I saw him fight an ex-EBU champ, I think, or someone who'd fought for the EBU title, and he got rid of him in a couple of rounds. And I'm thinking, okay, the guy's making progress. And yeah, it's early on with Campbell's career. He's only had a year as a pro. I don't want to be too down on the kid, but you know, Gregores had his moments. And after 4 rounds, 5 rounds, Hatton was looking low on the gas tank. which is not surprising. I don't think it's a case of him having a bad gas tank necessarily. It's just that he throws so many punches with so much vigour. He never paces himself. Andy Lee, who was the commentator, said he's firing punches at the same speed. He's not varying anything. And I think someone else, Bellew, or it might have been Bellew, said, or it might have been Andy Lee again, said, you know, if you're going to win around 10-9, you don't need to throw that many punches. You know, you don't need to use up these huge gulps of energy. You should be pacing yourself. And Gregores never looked in any trouble at all, despite all of this output from Hatton. Gregores was never shaken, he was never stunned, he was never buzzed. He got to the end. He was actually on the ascendancy in the last sort of round and a half, 2 rounds. Landed some, like I say, he landed some flush punches as well. Not many, but enough to make you think, oh, hang on a minute. You know, if that had been a bigger banger, Hatton would have been in trouble. So let me put it this way. The jury's still out with Hatton. I'm still smarting at that Sonny Martinez robbery, wherein I think it was his fifth fight, whatever it was. Sonny Martinez, this kid from Spain with a 2-4 record, came over and won almost every round against Campbell Hatton and got robbed. Absolutely flat out robbed. And I cannot believe, I'm sorry, but I very rarely say that something is corrupt. Corruption does exist in boxing, obviously, to various degrees. Not necessarily illegally, but you don't have to act illegally to be corrupt. But that was corruption, because there's no way on God's green earth that Martinez didn't win that fight, that Campbell Hatton outpoint. He won a 58-57 card from, I think it was Marcus McDonald. I was going to say Marcus Morrison. Marcus McDonald. No way did he win that fight. No way did he win that fight. It was one of the worst decisions I think I've seen in the last 10 years. But anyway, I'm still smarting about that. But no, he won this fight all right, Hatton. I think I gave him 5. You can make it a whitewash, but I gave him 5 rounds. Probably, maybe he did win 6. But yeah, the card, by the way, which was from Steve Gray, was 60-54. So he gave Hatton every round. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. So it wasn't a robbery, but it just, the kindest thing I can say is the jury's still out, and he's got to work on his defence. He's got to work on his technique. You don't just walk forward in a straight line throwing punches. I mean, God, this is boxing 101, isn't it, really? But so anyway, did you see the fight? What did you think? Let me know your comments below. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you for your time as always, and we'll speak again soon. Much love to you.